Hello everyone and welcome to Art Chat. I'm Marge Lee and today we've come to Sand Dollar to chat with artist Bibi Stein. Welcome, Bibi.
Thank you so much for coming to my home.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And we're surrounded by your artwork here. But I want to start by asking about your background. You're one of our professional artists here at Shell Point, but you came to that a little later in life. Tell us about your background.
Well, I started off, my first career as I'm a psychiatric nurse therapist. And I got to a crossroads where I was trying to decide whether to get a master's in nursing, go to law school, or really do my passion, which is art. So I got a master's in textile arts. And that took me into this whole new career, which has been really wonderful.
And that's a wonderful cue for you and I to stand up for the camera.
Sure.
Because we are wearing an example of your work. Talk about what I'm wearing first of all.
I'd love to. So I was living in Mexico about 4 years ago, and I decided, wow, it really gets cold here. I need to learn how to knit. So I started knitting, and because a lot of the fibers I use as a weaver, I could also use in knitting. So I just got started and knitted and just had this amazing time, and then got into fused glass and made buttons.
So you made everything. You made everything here. You designed it, made all the fabrics. So it's a little different in the back.
Yeah.
So wearable art.
Wearable art, absolutely.
Now talk about what you're wearing because it's even more special. It's a different kind of fabric to begin with.
So this is my hand-woven fabric, and it's not woven like this as one piece. These are all separate warps that I cut and sewed together, like you would a quilt. The ruffle is made out of my mother's scarves.
So Bibi, we talked about glass. Let's start by chatting about that a little bit. When did you start doing your glass?
Well, actually, when I retired, I was doing all the creme de creme of the art shows with my hand-woven clothing. I would design the fabric, make it into my clothing. When I retired, I decided I want to just play around in lots of different media. So I decided I would work in fused glass. So like this is fused glass and this is fused glass, and like the buttons. The table is an example of, I just designed the table. I was living in Mexico. I just kind of sketched it on a napkin. They can do anything there. And I had it designed so that I could drop pieces of glass into the table going around. And actually what I did, rather than in a stained glass way, which you use copper or whatever around the integrity of each piece, I just cut it exactly to size.
Now all around your apartment we're surrounded by glass, but I think one of the things you're best known for is your jewelry. So let's go into the other room and talk a little bit about your jewelry as well.
Sure.
And what do we have here? This is your jewelry.
This is my jewelry, and I do a lot of things in glass, like this clock up here is fused glass. So down here, here is an order. Most of these pieces are already spoken for. I've got pendants, and then I've got pins, bracelets. I think actually you might have one of my bracelets on.
I've got one of your bracelets, and you were saying this is a special one.
This is really special because I got to work with a glass artist in Murano, Italy. And so a number of these pieces are from Murano, and I just fused them.
Now my eye also has gone to your night lights. What fun is this? I wish I could see the light behind it, but that's great. I bet these are popular.
They're very popular, yeah, because it's functional and yet artful. And
Now talk about functional. Over here we have examples of your cards. And that's a particular technique. Tell us about that.
This is called Zentangle, and they say that it's a spiritual meditational form of art in that it's doodling. And classically it's done just black and white. So I just learned this maybe a year and a half ago here at Shellpoint. And just got really taken by how fun it is, and so I made them into cards.
I love the piece that's on the wall here. Entirely different. Talk about that. Talk about that.
I love different media. So this is actually, you're seeing it as a wall hanging, but it's really, I made it as a scarf. It's just put up with double stick tape. I can take it down and wear it, wearable art. So this is a piece of silk, 100% silk, and which allows the paint, this kind of textile paint, to really absorb in a really special way.
And there's texture to it. I mean, you
yes,
can
there actually is. Yeah, there is.
It's raised a bit. Now, so you put down every color separately, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. You paint it like you would, whatever your canvas is. This canvas just happened to be silk.
Well, let's go back to the other room where we began, because I want to end by talking about a very special table out there. So lead the way. Let's go back to that table. Bibi, here we are at this spectacular table, and it demonstrates the role that memories play in your life. And we've seen that in other areas of your apartment. Talk to us about what this table means, and pick out a couple of the tiles and talk about them.
Sure. When I was moving to Mexico, I built a house there in 2004. I invited some friends to come and make tiles, and asked each one if they would, friends and family, if they would just do a tile that was a blessing for my new home. And it just took on a life of its own. So I've got my two sons here, and I've got my cousin who's an illustrator for Marvel comic books, but then I have very, primitive art that my niece did when she was young. And then I did a few too. This is one that's hand built.
It's wonderful.
And
there's more in the corners.
Yes. And I did this one here that says Bienvenido, which is welcome.
Bibi, I want to thank you for inviting us into your home and sharing all your wonderful memories. This art chat is a wonderful memory because it's just so filled with vibrant color and fun things.
Thank
you.
Thank
you very much. And
My
thanks,
pleasure.
And thanks to all of you for joining us here as well. We'll see you again soon on Art Chat.